As FinOps consultants, we work with a lot of different companies, and we get a unique perspective from working with all these different companies that we thought would be valuable to share. So we're going to start sharing some of our insights, tips, learnings, some statistics that we find as we work with a lot of different FinOps organizations and FinOps practices. So to start with, I'm going to talk about just the maturity levels that we see with the companies that we work with. So as of right now, on average, the companies we work with are still typically at a crawl level. Now, those might be skewed a little bit low because a lot of the companies that we work with are working with us because they are lower maturity. But I think that the kind of how the different domains and capability scores compare to each other is likely still accurate to the whole industry, even if the average scores are slightly higher. So as we look at those scores by domain, it's really interesting to see the optimized usage and cost domain is where companies typically score the highest. They're actually almost on average getting into the walk level. This was a lot different 3 years ago because a lot of organizations 3 years ago still were not purchasing reserved instances and savings plans. And when we first talked to them, they had tons of savings opportunity for that reason, easy savings. Now they typically do purchase reserved instances and savings plans. And so they're getting more savings, their maturity is a little bit higher. They're still typically not very mature on average when it comes to usage optimization. And then the other interesting thing is looking at quantified business value, which is where organizations score the lowest on average. That one's interesting because it has not changed in the past 3 years. Organizations were on average very low maturity there 3 years ago, and they still are today. And I would say there's two main reasons there. And one is forecasting. We still see not a lot of maturity in forecasting processes. And then also the majority of customers are not doing anything at all with unit economics. And so that brings the score down a lot as well. So we'll be posting more videos, going into more information. This is just the first introductory video. Wanting to keep things very short, but look for a video next week where we'll dive deeper into some of these. And then in the future, we'll continue doing more videos where we'll go over a lot of different topics. So question I want to leave with though, is if you are a practitioner in a low FinOps maturity organization, does this resonate? Anything here surprising? Anything here different from what you're experiencing? And if you are a practitioner in a high maturity organization, I'd love to know what is your one tip that you would have for an organization that's low maturity to help them increase their FinOps maturity more quickly?